Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be subtle over pursuit causes rejection. Well, I've got two emails from the same viewer. He sent one to me, and then a few days later, a week or two later, he sent me another one. And what I like about this email, obviously, is he's subtly over pursuing this woman in ways that are counterproductive to what he's trying to do, which is obviously create attraction and grow their intimacy. And this is one of the things a lot of guys do. They bullshit themselves, like, oh, well, if I don't reach out enough, she's going to forget about me and she may date some other guy. Remember, it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. Women need time and space away from you to wonder about you, to think about you, to talk about you to their girlfriends and their female coworkers and hash things out so they can get clarity on what they feel about you and what they think about you. And if you're always blowing their phone up or just calling them a little too much or texting them a little too much and not instead of spending that time together in person, she never gets time for her feelings for you to grow. And I learned this lesson from one of my girlfriends from many years ago. Her and her mother taught me these things. Both of them sat me down separately on different occasions and told me these things because they wanted me to be successful. They wanted me to do the right things to cause my girl to fall in love with me. And I listened, and it worked. And I've been using that principle in my own life for many years ever since, and I've been teaching it to thousands of men and women all over the world, and they get the same fucking results. You can set your watch to this shit when you apply the things that are in my book, and dating and your personal life will become predictable, easy, and effortless, so you can focus on what's most important, which is your purpose and your mission in life, and creating an awesome life and lifestyle for yourself. So I've got a quote that I wrote on this particular topic, and then we're going to go through his first email. And the quote says, when a man starts to over-pursue and contact a woman too much, act unworthy, act weak and compliant, doesn't stand up for himself, or he starts acting like one of her girlfriends or a therapist instead of her charming lover, she will become unsure of her feelings, the relationship, and him. She will therefore back away to gain clarity and be present with her feelings. When a man notices that a woman he is dating is starting to back off, become unsure, act flaky, lose interest, or take him for granted, the best medicine is to make himself scarce and wait to hear from her. Why? The quickest way to get someone's attention is to remove yours. If they still value you, they will start treating you better and make an effort to make you feel wanted. If they don't, then they will let you go. Only try to keep people in your life who try to keep you in theirs. It's common sense, but how many of us actually look at things that way? How many of us are good enough personal negotiators for ourselves to negotiate a good deal in our careers or our relationships or in our friendships, or when we're dealing with our family? You got to stand up for yourself and what you want. And you got to give other people the opportunity to show you that they care and value having you in their lives. So let's go through his first email. So he says, hey Corey, thanks for taking a look at this emergency email. My question has to do with a woman I've been dating for just under 2 months. We started dating, and very quickly her attraction to me shot up to the 8 to 9% range. Well, what does that tell me? Well, she probably really liked you a lot to start off with. And you obviously did more things right than wrong that caused her to fall in love. That's fucking awesome. But obviously at some point, things started to go sideways. So let's take a closer look, shall we? She was calling me, asking me out, texting me, etc. Things were going great. We were hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. So far, so good. She initiated exclusive dating, and I was okay with that. The way it should be. In other words, she brought it up first. Again, you're following the textbook, at least up until this point. And this is why it's so important to read the book 10 to 15 times, because You've got to be successful at understanding pickup skills and techniques, dating skills and techniques, and relationship skills and techniques. And if one of them is missing because you don't know the material too well, you're not going to get to this point with a woman. You're not going to get to the point where she falls in love and wants to be exclusive with you. That is just a fact of life, and I can set my fucking watch to it, and so can you. He says, we're both single parents, so on the weekends when we couldn't see each other, we would talk on the phone for a while. So it's okay to have Skype video dates or phone dates. He says, again, things were going great. Then about a week ago, some stuff went down with her ex, i.e. custody stuff between her and her kids and her ex. And all of a sudden, she went cold. She stopped texting me all the time. And when I texted her, she would respond after a while. So in other words, instead of her being all over you, texting, hey baby, I was missing you, I was thinking about you, she has this emotional thing that happens in her life. Understandably, she's going to back up because it's stressful and she's going to wonder about it. I don't know. And what do most guys typically do? They go, oh my God, there's a problem. There's something wrong with me. I need to do something, which is what I like to call the illusion of action. And so what happens? They start to call, they start to text, they start to try to force things, they start to try to manipulate things. And what you really need to do when you see a woman, in other words, she takes her time to respond to you, what does that mean? You're not that important to her right now. You're not high on her priority list. And you want to be high on her priority list. She's blowing you off. And so when you see that, you got to recognize, oh, things have changed. Something to think about. What should I do there? I should back off. Why? Because she's treating you like you're a second-class citizen. She's no longer, hey, we got a big exclusive. I want you in my life. I love you. You're amazing. Now she's like, I'll get back to you in a while. I'm fucking busy. I'm having some popcorn and watching a movie or whatever's going on in her life. The quickest way to get somebody's attention is to remove yours. You're a low priority. Therefore, you give her the same amount of priority in your life that she's giving you in hers. You got to back off. You got to give her that space. Remember, it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And over pursuing and being all over her, trying to be there for her or be her therapist when she's not asking for it, when she's not asking for advice, when she's not asking to talk about things, or when she's not sharing this stuff with you, it's a bad way to go. We had a couple of long phone calls. You should have said, you know what, we should get together and talk about that over dinner. When are you free to get together? And then that way I can give you my undivided attention. But instead, you're acting like the therapist or the emotional tampon on the telephone. And this is, instead of being her lover, her rock, her mountain, now you're like the friend. You want to always be the lover, the rock, the mountain, not the gay male girlfriend at the other end of the telephone. We had a couple of long phone calls like we used to, and they were fun as always. But again, well, you should have been having fun in person. That's why I say hang out. That means make a date physically together in person. Have fun when you're hanging out. And hook up. You're hanging out, but digitally. You're having fun, but digitally. And you can't hook up. Why? Because it's digital. You're not following the formula at this point, bro. He says, but again, her interest and attraction level definitely had fallen. Last Monday, I asked her out for dinner, which was the next day. When we met up, after greeting me with a kiss and a hug and walking with me hand in hand, she turned to me and said, I'm sorry I've been distant, but my feelings have changed. And I don't think I want to see you anymore. Alpha? You ever see the Little Rascals from, I don't know, the 20s, 30s? She went on to tell me that this was a pattern of hers and that she typically runs as soon as the guy shows too much interest. Translation, when a guy shows me that he's more into me than I am into him, it causes me to go, I'm confused. I don't know if I really like him. And then she backs off, and what happens? Whoom! The guy chases after her. And therefore, she friend zones him. She also said that she wasn't sure if that was it or if it was because of what she was dealing with. It's typical. Most women really don't understand what they emotionally respond to in relationships. But she has a clue. In other words, she doesn't know if it was what he was doing, showing too much interest, or if it was because of what she was dealing with, i.e. her ex and the custody stuff. Or if it was that she was afraid that I would end up overpowering her personality-wise. What she's really saying, it kind of makes me afraid that you're going to become controlling and manipulative and try to force me to be around you. In other words, she fears losing her freedom. Isn't that interesting? You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. So that tells me that you're not making her feel free. But she didn't just want to leave at that point, and she wanted to talk about it, so we took a walk and talked, finally settling into a restaurant for some wine. We kept talking about the relationship for a little while and about a date we had planned for the following Saturday. She was clearly confused, and I was getting frustrated, so I told her I don't want to talk about it any longer, and I told her that if she didn't want to be with me, she didn't have to, but that I was done talking about it. Hang out, have fun, hook up. So I changed the topic after about a half hour or so, and then we were kissing, holding hands, and eventually having sex in the parking lot in the back of my SUV. Nice recovery, dude. You stood up for yourself. You're like, I'm not down with this bullshit. And you redirected things back to having a good time, hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. Nice job there. When I walked her back to her car, I asked her about Saturday, and she said she was still going to go. So far, so good. Neither one of us texted each other the next morning to say thanks, but I did send her a funny text later in the day. That's a mistake, dude. You over-pursued. You had a definite date. She confirmed that she definitely wanted to see you. And what happened? You're fearful that you're going to lose her, so what do? I think I have to do something. This is the subtle over-pursuit, dude. This is where you're shooting yourself in the foot and causing her to go, I don't know if I like him. Which got a great response. I backed off again from there, and on Friday she texted me to say, have a nice time, i.e. Halloween with my daughter. I said back to her and told her that I'd see her the next day. On Saturday, I met her at her house. Everything seemed okay. She wasn't as into me as she had been. That's because you fucking reached out to her, dude. But we were talking and we exchanged a few kisses and hugs. We went out, had fun, and at the end of the night we hooked up. Ding ding! We have a winner. Good job. And the sex was the best that we ever had. Why? Because you focused on the simple formula. Instead of complicating things and creating drama, you just focused on creating an opportunity for sex to happen. And guess what? The sex happened. Hanging out, having fun, and hook up. Sex and intimacy is the closest that you can physically get to another human being. That's why it's so fucking powerful. That's why it brings you together. It removes all barriers between the two of you, literally and physically and figuratively speaking. Afterwards, we spooned for a little while, and then when things popped up, we did it again. Hint, hint. And then it was time for me to go. I got dressed, and she walked me to the door. We kissed a bit and hugged and said, see you later, and the like. But again, it was clear that her interest was not as high as it had been or used to be. But considering the sex and kissing, I'm thinking I'm still in a 7 to 8 range on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, your problem is you're just like subtly over pursuing. You're not waiting for her to reach out. You're talking too much in the phone. You're being her therapist in the phone, acting like the gay male girlfriend or the buddy instead of the lover that she's getting her brains fucked out by. Because she obviously likes fucking you. He says, we didn't exchange texts yesterday, and I'm not sure how to proceed. Wait a week, and if you don't hear from her, make the next date. And if she does reach out, you assume she wants to see you, and you make the next date in person. Stop all this chit-chatting on the phone like one of her fucking girlfriends. I don't think that technically we broke up, but I know that I have to play it right or it's inevitable. Exactly. If you keep over-pursuing, you're going to talk her out of dating you. Also, we had planned to go to her friend's engagement party this Saturday, but now I'm not sure if she still wants me to go. She hasn't said anything about it either way. So tell me, Coach, what do I do next? Do I just sit back and wait? Or do I ask her out again? Or something else? Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. Isn't it fucking awesome that there's another Star Wars coming out in December of 2015? I'm fucking stoked about that. So, like I said, I would do nothing, and then if you still don't hear from her for a full 7 days, reach out and just make the next date. If you do hear from her, assume the real reason she's reaching out is because she wants to see you and make the next date. In other words, create the next opportunity for sex to happen. So let's go through his second email. So he says, on Monday night, I messed up and sent the following. In other words, you didn't wait a full 7 days. Hey, you. Just wanted to say I had fun the other night and I look forward to hanging out with you again. That's something a woman would send, dude. You're acting feminine. This is going to turn her off and confuse her. The phone is for setting dates and you're not following the principles, bro. So this morning, so in other words, she didn't respond right away. And she reaches out the next day. Hi, Bob, not his real name. I had fun too. Can I call you later this evening? He says, I'm pretty sure, like 99.95% sure, that she wants to officially end things. What does that tell you? He's fearful. Remember, what you fear, you attract. This is what he's focused on. He's focused on the relationship ending instead of just creating the next opportunity for sex time. So he's trying to force things. Where do I stand? Where do I stand? And he's subtly over pursuing. He's subtly reaching out, not because he wants to make a date, because he's trying to find out whether or not it's going to end. You're asking for things to blow up in your face when you do that. I responded to her text as follows. Hey, I have plans this evening and I'm not sure what time I'll be done. I could call you tomorrow when I'm home if you like, but it may be late. I should be around tomorrow. In other words, I want to try and control things, so I'll call you instead. Because I can't sit around and wait for you to call me because you might not call now. It's going to freak me out. She has not responded. Duh. So he says, so that you know, I followed the advice in your book and put myself out there and happened to have a date tonight. Good for you. And so the text I sent her was 100% true. I do like this chick and would like to hook up with her again, so I won't text her back and will wait to see what she says. Dude, just wait to hear from her, assume she wants to see you, and make the next date. I need help with exactly what to say to her when we do talk. So you're thinking, I gotta have to talk and find out where I stand. Survey says, no, don't do that, dude. Create an opportunity for sex to happen, and that's what you need to focus on. If she doesn't just want to see me again, then I know that's disappointing. Give me a call if you change your mind. You're a dynamite chick, and I'd love to hang out with you sometime in the future. I know she has to have some interest in me since we did have fun the other night and we had great sex. I just think I come on a little strong. Ya think? I.e., a little needy when we are together. Yeah, you're talking her out of liking you. You're subtly over pursuing her. She was doing all the work and then things were going great and you got emotionally invested and involved, and what happened? You changed your approach. And you started pursuing. You started acting like, oh my God, if I don't reach out, I may lose her. She may lose interest. So you're literally causing her to do the things that you're terrified were going to happen in the first place because you're totally driven by fear. So you, my friend, need to go back and review the fundamentals. That means read the book 10 to 15 times. And for those of you who are watching this video and you haven't read my book 10 to 15 times, you're fucking up if you haven't read it 10 to 15 times. Go to my website. Underneath the email sign-up box, there is a box that has an image of my book. If you click on that, it'll take you right to Amazon.com. You can either download the Kindle version to any electronic device in under 60 seconds or less, or you can order a paperback version. Go and do that now if you don't have the book. You gotta learn the fundamentals. You can't just use these videos as a substitution. The videos are predicated on the premise that you already know the fundamentals in my book. And if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session with me personally. And you can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.